That's proof you can't roll a 2CV.
My name is Oliver, and this is my dad, Andrew. He's a wicked engineer and my next door neighbour. We've always wanted to build a car together. So when I found my dream car in nightmare condition, we decided to embrace it, seize the day and re-engineer the entire car from scratch.
Well, it's looking more and more like a car every single day.
And make your own gear knob kit. There you go.
A K20 A2 from a Honda.
Things don't always go to plan. But when they do, it's a thing of beauty. Building a car and making memories with my dad. One of one, this is Project Mosquito. Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to the workshop.
In this episode, we're going to be working towards fitting the outer sills.
Which means doing a bunch of jobs that are absolutely nothing to do with the outer sills. So we need to make a bunch of inserts for the underneath of the car for the centre skid pan, because they get a lot harder to make once the outer sills go on, because we can't turn it upside down without risking damaging the sills. But that means that by the end of this video, this car will have a skid pan. Which way are we rotating? Someone asked last week about weights and how we're doing weight-wise. I don't want to banter about figures that I don't know facts for, right? But a while ago, we quoted a weight for what an original GTM 4-pan and subframes and all that weighs. And there's a website called Mini Weights. It's a really cool website, and it literally takes apart an entire Mini and weighs every single component. Whoever made that website, brilliant. Thank you for the 6 people who actually require it, and I'm one of them. But we added it all up, and we were, as a rolling chassis, we were 60 kilos lighter, with inner sills but none of the sheet metal. Our suspension's lighter than the original stuff. Our wheels are exactly the same weight, so that's by the by. And our sheet metal, don't know how much sheet metal we've added, but even if we've added 20 kilos worth,
yeah, we're still 40 kilos.
We're still 40 kilos lighter, which makes sense because even without the subframes, that rusty, with as little of it that was left, because most of it disappeared in rust, we could barely pick up that GTM 4-pound.
Yeah.
And I'm not as fit now as I was then.
The thing is, this one now, we've just turned this one over, and it's not so much heavy, it's just awkward.
Yeah.
And we don't want to, obviously, dent it or bump it anywhere, so we ginger when we turn it over.
Yeah.
And it's, but it's nothing.
Yeah. So I think we're at least 40 kilos underweight and that's the 620 kilos is the given weight for the last of the 13-inch wheel GTMs that they made. So that's our goal weight, obviously. But we are on track to be 40 kilos under that. But to show you the task that we have set ahead for us, a Lotus Exige Mark II with a Honda K series in. I saw a video with a lad who made one the other day, and he had a lot of lightweight carbon fibre stuff on it, and that was just shy of 800 kilos. So 180 kilos.
180 kilos heavier.
Heavier than our goal weight is. So we've definitely still got our work cut out for us, and we can't rest on our laurels. But we are going in the right direction, and that's the important thing. Now, even though we are putting a skid pan on the underneath of this car, we're not going full like East Africa Safari Rally spec. It's not a Stratos. A Stratos Under Armour is like full size, and I think it's 4mm thick, and the Allen heads are huge because they have to be like smashed to pieces and still be able to get them off. We're not going to those extremes. It's not a rally car, it's a road car, and for a road car, this like a 2mm armament is more than enough, isn't it? It's more for if we ever just happen to run out of suspension, or if we have to pull into like some grassy bit or whatever because the car's coming the other way and the centre of the belly just happens to scrape along the ground. This scrapes before this does. That's all it's really for. So it's lightweight armament. It's not. You know,
and it just allows us to make basically a service hatch.
It might seem like what we've made are really complicated blind riv nuts, and you're kind of right. Riv nuts can be good, right? But these will never come loose or rattle or rotate on their own. I know they do knurled riv nuts that are really cool, that prevent them from rotating. They're basically like a riv nut with a serrated washer built into them. But these were, well, they were free because we had the stuff, whereas riv nuts are actually quite expensive, and they're good for life.
And we haven't got any.
No, we haven't got any.
And we don't have a riv nut tool either.
No, so yes, it took Dad 4 hours to make 8 of these because it's not free cutting steel, this is shaft steel. You pretty much made them out of the hardest stuff you possibly could make them out of, but it was free and we had it. So yeah, they're not riv nuts, but they are kind of.
Yeah, and not only that, because the shank part is 13mm diameter. In the future, if the threads got stripped or damaged, we could drill them out. These are 6mm, we could drill them out 8mm, retap them and use them again while they're still welded inside the car. So it's a kind of little bit of future proofing as well. In fact, in extreme circumstances, we could actually go up to 10mm. So now what I'm going to do is, now we've pilot drilled these, I'm going to use the little hole saw. We'll counterbore the sheet metal only, not the box section. And these, I've made these with a little 1mm head. So then when we'll drill the box section 13mm. So these will fit inside. We can weld them all the way around. We can dress it up, and we'll just end up with a perfectly flat floor with the 6mm threaded insert.
So this is the diameter of the hole that will be in the box section, And this is the diameter of the hole that will be in the sheet metal. So we need to drill a hole this big, and then inside the hole that big, we need to drill a hole that big. This then gets inserted in the hole, bungs up both holes, gets welded round, linished off, and it becomes a flush fitting.
Yeah, and also the actual thing is a blind hole. So basically it's waterproof as well. Once it's welded in completely, no water, you can't get any water ingress into the box section.
Careful.
Yep. So now we can weld all the way around there, and that'll leave us just with a
beautiful flush and watertight insert. Now people say on YouTube now, oh, watch us on Patreon for our all of our bits that weren't included in this video. What would we put on a Patreon video? 9 hours of deburring. And you going, I'll just file this little bit out.
I have a bit more welding to do.
Yeah. That's cocked over, that. Massively, it's cocked over. It's down here and up there.
Yeah.
I think we need to redo that one.
Oh, tap it flat. See if it'll tap down. Nope, that's to get a little Dremel.
as usual, we need shorter bolts. They should all be this long because it's 2mm thick aluminium, of course. We'll use a strip of butyl tape when we do final assembly, which is like sticky, gooey rubber tape that never quite goes, it never goes hard, it stays gooey forever. It's same stuff that Dynamite or like bicycle inner tubes are made of. And that'll keep water out of here, and it'll also help with a little bit of sound in and just keep it watertight and nice, and keep the aluminium away from any steel. And we'll use stainless steel hardware. I'll get some 316 A4 stainless bolts, and then that way that's like marine grade. So even if you get sprayed with salt water and stuff like that, it won't mind. And 316 doesn't react with aluminium really. It takes a lot to make it react with aluminium, so that'll be fine. So yeah, there we go. First bit done. We do need to add 2 bits down here because obviously the skid pan comes all the way down here. So we've got 2 more inserts that we've made, but they need to go on like standoffs, if you will. Dad bought some supermarket drill bits. In fairness, that last box of supermarket drill bits you bought was superb.
Superb, yeah.
But they were from around there. I think these are like Lidl or something, or Action.
Action.
Which is like, I don't know, it's like a dollar store. And they're rubbish. They'd be better at making a hole in steel if you threw them at the steel than they are in a drill. They absolutely suck. So we had a plan.
Yeah, a cunning plan.
Emphasis on had.
Yeah, Sunday night we set out a plan to go to the sheet metal place nice and early, get there for 8 o'clock in the morning, pick up our material for the centre tunnel and the front and rear parts in aluminium.
And they were shut. No skid plate metal for us. We're actually going to do it all in 4mm as well. We changed our mind. Then we decided that the weight saving wasn't worth saving.
Yep.
But that all changed. They're shut, and the other sheet metal place is out of stock. So no sheet metal for us. Then on the way home, we decided, well, we'll do seatbelts instead. So we went to our seatbelt place, and they were shut.
Yeah, for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So no seatbelts for us, no sheet metal for us, and so now we've got to think of something to do.
Yeah. Well, we've got a haircut instead.
Yes. I no longer look like My Little Pony. So, My Little Pony. Sorry. Right. So instead of doing what we were going to do, we're going to come up with something else to do instead, which is a load of seam sealing.
Yep.
Because we really need to get this floor painted. Unlike the really thin stuff, unlike this stuff, the 1mm isn't very corrosion resistant and it gets surface rust really easily. And I really don't want to be oiling it like with chainsaw oil to keep it nice. It would be much better painted.
Yeah. Because what happens when you use a chainsaw oil, if you come anywhere near it with a grinder or a floppy disc, basically everything sticks to it and you end up filthy.
Yeah. So what we're going to do instead is finish it because we're that close. Obviously we can't mount seats because we don't have seat belts, and that's all about geometry and the seatbelt buckle, and God forbid our seatbelt buckle ends up slightly different than what we have as an example and stuff like that. So we're not going to bolt the seats in. Instead we are going to do loads of seam sealing and paint preparation and welding.
And welding,
so
yeah.
We've got a ton of welding to do. And it'd be really nice to get that centre console in.
It would.
We've had questions about what we're painting this thing with. And what we've been using up to now is some stuff called Steel It, which is polyurethane suspended stainless steel. And it's a paint that's used for architecture and bridges and stuff like that. Anything that's made of steel and gets battered by weather. Because like I say, polyurethane is what skateboard wheels are made of, or fancy suspension bushes. And it's just full of stainless steel powder. And it's great, but it takes forever to harden. And so what we did, we painted we painted the tube section of our...
Yeah, we painted as much as we could. The
tube section of our spacecock. And then later on, we were going to paint this. But of course, we need a seam sealer to match, and you've come up with a cunning plan.
Yeah, so we've got some Bostik Fix Pro MSP 116.
Show the people, they can read it for themselves. There you go. Yeah, do the makeup YouTuber thing.
Okay, and I've never used this stuff before, and we're not sponsored.
No, it could be absolutely rubbish, and if it is, we'll tell you.
And basically, it's a sealant and adhesive that actually has stainless steel powder in it.
Yeah.
And it's paintable, which makes it ideal.
So basically, it's the steal it of panel bond slash, what do you call it? What's the other stuff that's not panel bond?
Seam sealer.
Seam sealer. So it's the steal it of seam sealer. It's steal it seam sealer.
Yeah. So we'll give it a whirl and we'll let you know if it's any good.
So we're filling our cracks with stainless steel.
I haven't got any cracks.
You know what I mean?
Joints.
Joint. Yes, but crack is funny to say, whereas joints aren't. You don't have an ass joint, do you?
Right, that'll do. Come on, let's get on it.
Yep.
So we've already welded, when we turn the car upside down, we've already welded the sheet metal along this edge, all the way along. Now what I'm just doing is putting extra ones in to weld it on this side of the box section. Just to give it a little bit more rigidity, so rather than it being, so it's welded on both sides of the box. It makes it much stiffer and adds very little weight. Some clean rags and some acetone. That's there.
It all depends how runny it is. We may panic and need a lot of paper very quickly.
And what we'll do, we'll get this edge, we'll get it from underneath. So we'll run a bead round the inside. That keeps it all nice and neat. I'm quite liking this stuff.
Yeah, we've checked the specs on it and it's massively strong, like insanely strong. In theory, well, it's full of stainless steel dust, so it should be. But in theory, it's like overkill as far as strength and bonding ability and stuff like that.
And it looks pretty.
It does look pretty. Well, there's a decent bead as well. When you do a job like this, buy the expensive caulking gun. I know when you go to the shop, there's one of these, right? And you think, oh, that's good enough because that one's really expensive, right? Wimpy, 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 hefty, 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 right? This is the one you want. Do not buy one of these, they are trash. We've had this for going on for 20 years now, and it's superb. right? And it's worked for a living. I mean, you can tell it's covered in Sikaflex from doing yacht decking, but
it's literally done hundreds of kilometres of decking.
In fact, I'd be shocked if there's not thousands of miles on this thing. But when you consider every single line of every single deck we've ever done, we probably should have bought an electric one, because you can buy them. You can buy like they do pneumatic ones as well, don't they? That body shops use, and they're lovely. But this is a very high level manual one, and this is the minimum when you're doing stuff like this. The way you stop it from keeping spooging out the end is you just release the pressure with that, because I've seen so many people do that. They go, oh, I want it, because it keeps coming out.
I'm actually pretty good at this because I've done literally thousands of miles of it. And if you're not that confident, what you can actually do is, after you've cleaned it with a degreaser and get rid of all the dust, blow it all away, degrease it the best you can so the stuff has the best chance it has to gain a really good adhesion. You can mask it up either side of your joint, and then you can put your filler in all the way along. But remember to take the tape off straight away. Don't
your panel bond or seam sealer, not filler.
Your panel bond or seam sealer. Make sure you take your tape off more or less straight away, because if you leave it on and it sets, it's almost impossible to get off, and it leaves a horrible raggy edge then.
This is one of those jobs that you love doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It drives me bananas. A few people have given us rubbish for this project taking so long, but it takes Porsche 7 years to do the new 911, so we've got some time. Our mission is to get it all ready for paint now, and so we're going to check it all first. We're going to put the sills on, and then we're going to put the body on and just check the front bulkhead is in the right place. It's only tacked in at the minute, and then we're going to go over everything. We're going to make the front of the tunnel fit, and we're going to weld that in. We're going to weld this in. We're going to finish the welding on the rear bulkhead. Then we're going to seam seal it all ready for paint, and then we can paint it in between episodes. I'll probably shove a bit of us painted in next episode, because then we can sit this in the sun for a few days, and that'll help it cure, because we've got really good weather over the next week and a bit. So we're not welding these on today, because they have to be painted before we weld them on. It is a good job this car isn't any bigger than it is. I don't know what we're going to get on with the next project. It goes inside, Dad.
Eh?
It goes inside the triangle. That's it. We're going to need another block. So it would appear we've welded the bulkhead in too far back. Let's undo our tacks, move this to where it needs to be.
But do you want to just try it windscreen first?
And tack it on. You want to try the windscreen?
Yeah, just hold the windscreen in.
Because the thing is, the windscreen has no...
I know, but we can
There's
get...
no lip or edge.
I know, but we can get the... If we put the screen in, right, we can get this position between there and there.
Okay.
Because that's the only datum we've got. Bodies
okay. Yeah, because the windscreen can't be a different shape than it is. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I've got a windscreen. We bought it in winter. Winter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way to wipe this.
Yeah. That is one of the last GTM windscreens. The company that makes these windscreens was British, but it's now owned by a Japanese manufacturer. So the unit code for them is in English and Japanese. Does that make it a JDM windscreen? So we've got a Japanese market engine made in England, or assembled in England for a Honda.
Yep.
And then we've got a British car windscreen owned by a Japanese company assembled in the UK. There's a theme developing here. It's very much an Anglo-Japanese consortium, isn't it?
It is.
I don't like this. Yeah. And it's a totally different shape. Massive gap on this side.
Well, there will be a gap because of the rubber. But
Yeah, I know. But no, but there's no gap in the middle and a massive gap on each edge.
yeah. Got it.
I was contacted by one of the previous owners of the body who had kept, Graham, who'd kept the windscreen for me for years. Lovely chap. And he'd offered to like hold on to everything for me. And unfortunately, when we checked the windscreen, it wasn't E-marked. It was the old British certification, which they don't recognise anymore. It would be fine for a GTM, but not for this car, because this car has to be homologated again from scratch. And so we needed an E-marked windscreen. Luckily, Derek Hambley just happened to have one. So we didn't have to have one custom made, because you can get one custom made by the company by a company in England, but you've got to drive to England to get them. And luckily Derek had one in stock.
Yeah, on the shelf.
On the shelf,
Lovely
as it
chap,
were.
by the way.
He's a lovely chap. He makes parts for GTMs now. In fact, there's quite a little industry happening with old GTMs and people like restoring them and stuff. It's really cool to see. As much as, you know, our car doesn't use much GTM anymore, it's still nice to see. It has a sun strip in, which I hadn't planned for a sun strip, but you've kind of just got to get what's available when it's something like this. You can't be picky about these things. But actually, I kind of like it because it'll hide the cage a bit more, and
Yeah.
which I think is cool. It makes it just that little bit more stealth.
And in fact, the only thing that could have been better it would have been better if it were heated.
But I'm not fussed. I've got the world's strongest demister. That Panda heater's hectic, and it is green. It's like a blue-green, isn't it?
It has a blue-green tint to it.
It has a little bit of a blue-green tint to it, which, as tiny as this windscreen is, it's a big glass area for this car because it's very raked, it's very over the top of you. So I think we'll be glad for that. The little banner and the
little sun strip, yeah.
and the and the bit of a tint, but it's very. it is very on brand for like the late 60s, early 70s thing.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about that. I do like coloured, I don't like tinted windows. Actually, I hate tinted windows, especially in Europe, because we can only have tinted rear windows. You can't have tinted windscreen and front windows. Only a very mild tint. And it looks rubbish. But I really like old school coloured glass. It's super cool. I know a lot of Mercedes and BMWs used to do green glass, didn't they?
Green tint, yeah.
Mazda in the late 80s, early 90s, a lot of the second generation RX-7s have like a bronze tint to the glass. And that's super cool. I really like that. So yeah, having a bit of a tint's nice. I don't know how we're gonna replicate that on the side windows and stuff if we are, but
No.
don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we are going to, might as well tell you, we are going to bond the windscreen in rather than having a windscreen seal. It's one of those little aerodynamic touches that makes a massive difference. And so it can be reasonably flush, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's right.
We're now with 10 mil in. If before that, it makes it 10 mil too close.
So it needs to come out in the middle and in at the sides, yeah?
Yep.
Which makes sense actually, because there is a strip that we made previously. These.
Yeah, that's the.
That fit in, careful because they're not deburred, but they fit in here. Like that. In the sill. And this bit of the door frame attaches to them. And that pulls that in then. 117.
117.
So
It's splayed out 40 mil.
20 mil aside
Yep.
with a windscreen seal. That makes sense.
Yeah, 120. Yeah, that gives you 15 mil.
I've got a windscreen seal upstairs.
Have you? Oh yeah, we got it at the same time, didn't we?
Huh?
We bought it at the same time.
Yeah, Derek gave it to us. He's like, do you want chrome or black? And I'm like, ew, not plastic chrome. Chrome's difficult on a sports car, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a funny thing.
It's all right on like something like a
Sprite.
yeah, or the Corvette.
No.
Oh, an older Corvette. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's like chrome wing mirrors and.
Yeah, on something that if it's very 60s or 50s, yes.
Sort it middle.
Yes, I'm trying to work out which end's which. I'm guessing fat side is car. Fat side is car, thin side is screen.
No, because the filler strip goes on outside. So although we won't actually be using this seal, it just gives us an idea of the correct dimensions.
No, we'll be making a recessed.
Recessed bonded in windscreen.
Yeah, a recessed piece to the body to strengthen this windscreen frame. Because early GTMs used to crack their windscreens all the time. And so they made some tubular pieces that bolted to the door frame, where the door hinges attach.
And then they had a solid piece of steel, a round piece of steel that used to run up inside here. That was bonded in.
That was fiberglassed into the body, yeah.
Well, it's this part we need, really.
Yeah, I know, but we can then fathom how much it
off,
adds.
Yeah.
Because that's a... Centre to centre.
15 mil.
15.
Yeah. That's 19. So these sides are perfect. If that's pulled into there,
Yeah.
that's more. Yeah, so the sides are perfect.
Yeah. So what we need to do is bring the bulkhead to meet the body then.
Yeah.
I'll get Dremel and whip all these off. I feel like Cobra Commander. Curse you, G.I. Joe. Haha. Need to bend the edges in.
Eh?
Need to bend the corners in.
Yes.
First, do you want to do that on a bench?
Yeah.
We've talked about this before in videos, but it's really difficult when you're starting from nothing. Like, what part do you put in first? Because we had no measurements, or the original measurements for the original floor pan that belong to the body, which I don't actually think belong to the body. They weren't correct because the entire car was so bent and buckled that none of it was straight. There was no. You could you could infer measurements, but you couldn't exactly.
Yeah, because one side of the car was 38 millimeters, inch and a half, shorter than the other.
Yeah, the entire thing was twisted. There wasn't a straight bit on it because it had been crashed at least twice that I know of, and it had been like the front end's from one car, the red part's from another car, and this white body's from another car. So that's why we're kind of having to massage things and do what we're doing, because if you go back and watch the old episodes, in fact it's in the intro of this video, it was munched.
Yeah, you got your 15 mil there.
Yay!
And
I've put it up to the bit of the bit that's not broken.
yep, that's it.
Spot on. Yeah, it's sad to cut them, but because we've cut we've
cut the sills down.
cut the sills down, they don't really work anymore. And it's a little triangle like this, so there's no point keeping it around and trying to make it work when it's not.
They don't fit.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit anymore. It serves no purpose.
It could be made to fit, but it would be more work making it fit than it would be just sorting it out. Go. Still going to need another clamp for that. That's not so bad then. That's alright. It's popped out. Popped out of its own accord. And you have to do that because obviously it affects these bits here. So for whatever reason, now we've got everything tacked in square and as it should be and in place, this is somehow 15 mil too short. When you line it up, it just it just misses on this edge. And we have no idea how that happened. Hello, this is Future Oliver. I don't normally do stuff like this. I don't usually film something the day that the video goes up, but for reasons you'll find out later in this video, our heads weren't really in it when we were welding in the front bulkhead. And so disregard the gap that was between the body and the roll cage. There was a body misalignment which caused a bulkhead misalignment. It's since been corrected. All right, back to your regular scheduled programming. If we're a bit of a somber tone this week, my grandmother passed away this week, and we're dealing with all that. My grandmother lived with my mum and dad. Yep. And it's one of the reasons as well why, because my grandma hasn't been well for a long time. She battled with cancer for ages and all sorts. But it's one of the reasons why in the past we had a break, and it's been a bit of an ordeal, hasn't it? Yep. And she's finally at peace, and it's actually kind of a nice thing. But this week is a bit of a weird emotional. If we're a bit odd on camera, that's why. But me doing YouTube might not exist if it wasn't for my grandma, because my grandmother bought me my first GoPro.
Yeah, for your birthday, yeah.
For my birthday. So this video is dedicated to my grandma. But yeah, it's a heck of a thing.
Is it better to put the seam sealer on now?
In a word?
Yes. And if you're not a car person, but you like things being done, if you've never seen seam sealer before, if you go out to your car and you lift the bonnet up, you'll see it everywhere. Right? Because literally the manufacturers use tons of this stuff.
Well, not this stuff, it's usually black.
Yeah. But it's usually painted. It's all painted over. But if you go and look around the
suspension
turrets and all like that, there's literally tons of it. So this is not us doing something that...
No, this isn't a bodge.
And we've got to make it fluid proof. So...
No, it's very hard to waterproof weld a car chassis because you can't just do a perfect seam everywhere. It's the wrong thing to do. And that's how you end up with cracking and stuff like that. You don't want cracking seams and stuff like that. And so what they do is they spot weld in a production car. They've got a machine that has like jaws on it like this, and it puts basically a current through both layers of metal. Like you've got a lip and a lip like this. You put them together, and then your spot welder goes on, and basically without using any welding rod or adding anything, just welds straight through one into the other and welds the two together.
Yeah, fuses the two together.
And most modern cars have McPherson strut front suspension. So if you open up your bonnet, if you don't have a big plastic cover on, but you look around the turrets, you'll see spot welds all the way along and seam sealer. It was a funny old thing when Dad came on the channel, because we've worked together on and off for years, and when you're with your dad and stuff, you're used to taking the mick out of each other, and we laugh and we joke and stuff. But then all of a sudden, Dad had never been on camera before, and so we're in front of a few thousand people, and we're not used to being like watch. You're not used to being watched while you work, are you?
Yeah, it's not just that. It's like because this video goes all over the world. Yeah, basically people.
You don't want people to take it the wrong way.
Take it the wrong way and think that we're being horrible to each other.
No, because we are a bit savage at times when it's just the two of us. But we had to redevelop a routine for work as well. I don't know the words, that it's escaping me right now. But we had to rework out the way that we work with each other, because we're on camera. Dad's not used to stopping and starting when he's when he's working, because my editing makes it look reasonably seamless, but in between doing one job, going from one thing to another, we have to, you know, stop the camera, we have to change everything around, move everything around, make sure there's no tools on the workshop, and Dad has to like move his body so that you can get a good shot of it and all this.
Yeah,
and
in 9 times out of 10 I'll start a job and I won't have the tool that I need.
Or your microphone turned on.
Yeah, or I'll disappear, so I end up disappearing off halfway through.
And so what I realised is that I needed to just be a bit more humble about it. Think, well, hang on a minute, I don't have to be on camera doing the job all the time. I've got someone here that's massively skilled, that's never got the credit that they deserve for their work. And I mean it. Like, Dad, in 30 odd years of you doing engineering, you've never ever got the credit you deserve. Whereas, you know, like I say, my name's on the channel, so stuff it. Give Dad the credit that he deserves. Dad's got faster hands than me anyway. So what I tend to do is when we're filming, anytime I'm not on camera, I'm behind the camera doing like organisational stuff, putting tools away, getting tools out, getting materials, trying to sort out. And that's why in a lot of videos you'll see me like carrying a sheet of steel to a table or whatever. I'm doing that so that Dad can then have a moment and like, have a drink of water and function, because we work flat out for the days that we film. And we've developed quite a good flow.
Yeah.
Although some people think that I don't do anything. But that's just simply because, I don't know, I'm not doing the flash stuff, and people only see the flash stuff.
Yeah.
And because that's what looks good. So like all the wire brushing that we do and all the deburring, I made a joke I think earlier in this video about 9 hours of deburring, and that's not much of an exaggeration in a lot of these cases. A lot of metal preparation and stuff like that. Like, I'm basically doing, what do you call it? Apprentice work.
Yeah.
just so we can get it done. You line me up.
Drill's bent. Go on.
Kemp Freddy. Every drill in the world is bent. Especially when they're them terrible ones from Action. It's loads faster than freehand drilling, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Going back to what we were saying before, how much of a douche would I be if, for my own ego, I'd done all the work and then had Dad, an aerospace engineer, run round behind me doing apprentice work? That would just be silly. In fact, someone once wrote a comment about me not doing all the work and that I should be doing all the work, and my mum just looks at me and goes, well, you don't have a dog and bark yourself. Which is not the message I want to send, but it's funny. No, I'm being a fuel tank. Right.
Like being born again.
I'm a bit more than 60 litres. Oh, I have to get back in that hole in a minute. Right.
Can you?
Yeah, if you...
Push it, pull it across.
Yeah, can I have my block of wood as well? It's behind your elbow. Oh, I'm lowering myself down. Oh. Ah! No, my t-shirt sleeve stuck on a clamp. Got it.
No, I don't want it up yet.
No, I'm just making sure that you can push against something. So it bends now.
Right. Now we just need the rest of it. Oh, you got two in?
I've got two tacks in.
Oh,
yeah.
nice one.
If you come underneath the car, come off now.
Right.
Go underneath and pull it across. I can get a tack on that end as well.
Do you ever listen to the words that you say?
What? Right.
You got it?
Yep. Right.
Hello. Oh. Ow. Yeah, because it's never been under tension before. Is it flat?
Not bad that, actually.
Spot on.
That's better.
When we make these videos, usually we try and start off with a job, progress through that job, and then end with the job as finished as we can get it in the time that we have. But this week, we just haven't got it in us, have we?
No, and we've literally run out of time. It's 24 hours before the video goes up.
Yeah. With everything that's gone on, it's been a lot. it's been a long 2 weeks, but I'm really happy with what we have achieved in spite of everything.
Yeah.
We've got the inserts in the centre tunnel underneath. All right, it looks like we've just drilled some holes, but you all know we haven't. And we've got everything seam sealed and everything square and welded in, and yeah, I'm really happy with what we've achieved.
And then we can, once we get new panel made, we can get some paint on it.
Yeah.
And we don't get any rust.
Yeah.
Because the best thing to keep something nice is to not get in a mess in the first place.
Yep. You've said that my entire life. You said Dad's been saying that to me since I was that tall. No wonder I'm so weird. Anyway, so yeah, if you'd like to support this channel, the best way to do it is by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing these videos with your friends and on forums and stuff. I'm massively appreciative to all of you who do. It's really how we grow this channel, because nobody else knows what a GTN is, only us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, YouTube's best kept secret.
It's eternally. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Please be awesome to each other.
And we'll see you all in the next video.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.